Welcome back to Pipes, Tobacco, and Whiskey. Today we've decided to go the route of doing a Scotch impression. So we're going to do a Scotch for you today. And while I was standing at the liquor store trying to figure out which Scotch we were going to do.
Yeah.
There's a blues song in there somewhere.
Gotta be.
I didn't think that at an affordable price, which to me is about $25 or less, that we could find a single malt. And actually, there's quite a few single malts that are $25 or less. They're way down on the bottom shelf, but they're there. And I was looking at this one and noticed that Wine Enthusiast had rated it 89 out of 100. And I thought to myself, you need to try this one. So we got for you today Glen Ness Scotch single malt whiskey aged for 8 years. This was, it's distilled in Perth, Scotland. It's considered a Highland whiskey. So we're going to give you our impressions today about Glen Ness. So, first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about the color, guys. So let's take a look at the color.
Looks like whiskey.
It does.
Well, it's a very light amber. It's not very dark at all. It's got quite a few legs on it.
Yeah, a whole lot.
By the way, the alcohol content on this is 40%, so it's 80 proof.
Yeah.
And there's no particulate in there, so it's pretty clean.
Yeah, it's pretty clean.
Yeah.
Color to me, kind of, I want to say a copper kind of color, but it's a little lighter than a copper. It's a really bright amber, like you said.
Yeah, I get amber tones to this. Yeah. Almost not as light as honey, but not as dark as amber. So it's right in between those.
Yeah.
It's a good place to put it.
Yeah. And also, just to let you know, guys, we've added a drop of water to each one of this. I've tried this a couple times and found that it's better with a drop of water in there. So if you decide to try this, you might want to put some water in it. Okay, so let's talk about the nose on it.
So it's down for that.
Yeah. I mean, right up front, I'm getting an alcohol burn.
See, this one I can put much closer than some of the other things that we've tried. With the very old Barton, I had to keep it far away from my nose to be able to smell it without getting too much of a burn or wanting to sneeze or cough or anything. And this one I can get right up in there and just really enjoy all the nuances that it has.
I smell some sweetness to it. It's like
there is.
Like
it's almost
honey,
like
sugar or something like that.
Yes, some type of really
Maybe some dried apricot.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Just a really nice, sweet smell to it. It's not bad.
I get some
Probably
dried apricots in there, some light honey sweetness to it.
Yeah.
I'm saying oat kind of smell as well. I don't know if you guys are getting it, but I get like a little bit of oat to it.
Yeah,
barley.
There's a grassiness in
there.
there.
Yeah, that might be it.
It's probably the fact that it's made out of barley and everything else we've tried so far is corn-based.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, actually, there's conflicting reports out there on this one. There's a side that says, hey, this is a great bargain, single malt, and there's some guys that are saying, hey, don't purchase this. But the nose on this is pretty tolerable.
Yeah.
It's light, it's fruity.
Yeah, definitely fruity.
Little bit of hint of vanilla in there. And grassiness, like we said. I like the nose.
I do too.
I think the nose is not bad.
Surprising.
Yeah, it's enough to make me want to take a drink, and then I bet when I try it, it's going to be something that I want to just keep drinking.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's taste it. And we're looking for the mouthfeel now. What the mouthfeel is like.
Gin. Wow.
So I get at first that alcohol kind of punch, but it quickly dissipates.
Yes, and it's not like a mouthwash taste, like where you feel it in your gums, and it kind of has that stinging numbness effect or anything. it immediately it hits, it's gone, and then it's sweet.
There's not a lot of chew to it, so it doesn't have a lingering effect on it. It's pretty quick. So some guys would be kind of, that's not very good. We want something, the mouthfeel to be longer and more substantial.
Yeah.
And this doesn't have that.
No, it's a very clean cut, straight through whiskey so far. I mean, it's very, very nice.
For me, the way that it falls off, like the actual mouthfeel when it just goes down, the way that it falls off is instant.
Yeah.
It falls away, and then you actually get to actually enjoy the actual feeling of it going down. Like it's.
I mean, I'm not offended by the mouthfeel.
No.
I mean, it's not a mature Scotch.
Yeah.
But it's not something that totally turns you off. At least not yet.
Well, it's the oldest one so far that we've drank, isn't it? I mean, this is aged for 8 years, and
well, when you age Scotches, it's a little different than when you're aging bourbons and stuff like that. And there's no. It hasn't been aged in any flavored barrels or anything like this.
Okay.
This is straight oak barrels is what this has been aged in. So it's pretty typical of how a Scotch is aged.
Really?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow.
This is not anything different than what the norm.
Okay.
All right. Well, so we talked about the mouthfeel. Now let's talk about the taste.
Okay.
What's on the palate?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm still getting a bit of a burn from the alcohol, but after that goes away, I get a little breadiness.
Yeah. Yeah.
And maybe like toffee, not a caramel, but a toffee. And a little bit of vanilla.
I taste. I don't know if they do anything with honey in this recipe or anything about it. I really taste a nice, silky honey taste where it just kind of runs down my mouth, and it's really nice. I'm going to need another glass before this episode is over. I'm just gonna say that I'm almost done with mine because my sips I take a little sip and then I find that sip turns into a mouthful, and then
it's thin. It's not like I said, it's not a thick taste.
Yeah.
It's thin. It hits you and it goes on. But I taste the sweetness of toffee, sweetness of vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
I get a little bit of the bread kind of a taste, and the yeasty thing. There is definitely some spice.
yeah.
I get a little bit of just an ever so hint of peat smoke in it.
I get that a lot too. Yeah,
you get the smokiness.
It might be the oakiness that comes from it.
I'm getting the peat in there.
I don't know.
I like it.
I've drank a lot of Islay Scotches, and this has just a slight hint of that peatiness that they use in Islay.
Compared to like a Lagavulin or something like that, which I get like a campfire almost out of it, like compared to something like this. But it's subtle, and you can feel it in there. It's like it's influenced by it. It's not quite doing the same thing, but you can definitely feel it. That's the main taste that I'm.
I mean, you're going to get oak characteristics because of it being aged in oak barrels for 8 years. So you're going to get some of those tannins that come into it.
Yeah.
But still, I mean, it's a Highland Scotch. It tastes like a Highland Scotch. Some other Highland Scotches that kind of remind me of this, that are, of course, not at the level.
Right.
But Glenmorangie,
Highland Park.
Oban.
I get Highland Park.
You get Highland?
I love Highland Park too. So that's
Yeah, I'm not sure Highland Park, if it's an Highland Scotch or if it's considered an island Scotch, because it's in the actually Highland Park is the most northern distillery in Scotland.
Well,
yeah,
learning that.
And it's, I love Highland Park.
I'm a big
18-year-old
fan.
Highland
Big
Park
fan.
is the best.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't had a lot of scotches before.
But see, I could sip on that all night. and never really feel like something just abused my palate.
Yes, yeah, that's what I get out of this. It's very smooth. It's really, I can't get over how nice it is just to be able to try it and sip it and then go, I would like some more. Yeah, I'm actually going to get some more real quick.
Really great for the actual price point. I mean, if you're talking $19 for a Scotch,
Yeah.
get out of here.
Yeah, this
You don't
this
get that,
actually
you know?
was $19.99 before tax. I got it at Total Wine here in Texas. Those of you that live in Texas, you know Specs Total Wine. They've got this available. Yeah, the price point on it is excellent. I mean, you're looking at a shot of what we got for less than $1.
Yep.
That doesn't happen with Scotch whiskey.
Yeah, not
especially
single
not
malt.
single malt.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that doesn't go down. So that's really, really good for that. I like it.
Nice. Well, you know, the Pacific North pipe smoker, what episode was that, Nathan? Do you remember?
Which one?
That he recommended that we taste the Scotch.
This was like it was after our very first try at alcohol. When we did the very old Barton. So
Okay.
it was either the third episode, I think, is which one it was.
Somewhere around there.
Something around there. And he recommended that we do a Scotch, not a whiskey
bourbon,
or
yeah.
bourbon. Which is funny because we've done 2 bourbons so far, but no whiskeys. And
No, that bourbon's a whiskey. So is Scotch. They're all considered whiskeys. They're just different regions.
Oh,
Yeah. So bourbon's a whiskey.
is that why
Scotch is
this
a
one's
whiskey.
spelled with a Y?
Irish is a whiskey. Even Japanese have whiskey. So it just depends on what the region is. So this is a Scotch whiskey. We tried bourbon whiskey. So next time maybe we'll do an Irish whiskey. Who knows? But we'll,
That'd be good. Jameson. Yeah, but that's a
Hey.
little above what we're shopping.
yeah, affordable.
You're
Bottom
right, you're
shelf,
right.
right?
Right,
Bottom
right,
shelf. Okay. So that talks about the taste or the palate.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about the finish. So what we're trying to determine is after we take our drink and swallow it, what do we get during the finish?
I don't want to
Okay?
finish. That's what I get. I don't want to finish. I like it.
You know, I still get a little bit of the alcohol.
Yeah.
But it dissipates quick. The finish is mild to me. It doesn't. I read some of the reviews on this, and they said that the finish lingered on for 30 seconds or to a minute. I don't get that. You know, I get.
Sensitive palates.
You know, I get that hit, that swallow, and it's done.
Yeah.
You know.
It rounds up very nicely. It almost. I'm only going to say it as a come hither drink. Almost.
Brings you in.
It does. It warms you. It welcomes you in. It's really is a. How did you like that? Would you like another? You know, that's kind of what I get from it.
It's the friendly bartender.
It
That's
is.
what
It
it
is.
is.
You
Yeah.
want some Glen Ness? Here you go.
Yeah, no,
Here's your second one because you're going to want a second one.
I'm with Dad on this one. The finish of it itself, like you get the actual bite, but at the same time, it's not an offensive bite. It immediately falls off. It's like the ocean. Like all of a sudden, like you just had the
Yeah,
ocean.
drop.
Yeah, just whoop, right there. And that's what I get off this one. It's just you play with it, you feel it, and all of a sudden it's gone.
I mean, let's
I
be
like it a
honest.
lot.
You're paying $20 for a bottle of single malt. You have to know that it's not going to measure up to some of your outstanding scotches that that cost more.
Yeah.
But for the dollar that you're paying, this is a great value scotch.
This is a fantastic bargain.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, Nathan
$20 for.
It is. It's great.
Nathan likes it.
I enjoy this.
It's a really good.
I mean, there's times where I want to sit down and have a thick scotch.
Yeah.
You know, like a Lagavulin
Yeah.
or Lafroig 18, which they don't make anymore. I've got a bottle stashed right now that we're going to crack open many years from now.
Yeah.
Or a Highland Park 18, those types of scotches. But I'm not always in the mood for a steak. Sometimes I just want a burger.
Right.
and the burger is good.
And this would be
And
really
this is what I'm talking about. This, you come home from work, you've had a rough day, you have a shot of this, and you're satisfied. You know?
That's another thing I'm going to point out with this. I'm smoking one of my harsher tobaccos that I regularly smoke, and typically I can't drink anything except maybe a cold light beer with this tobacco because it burns my tongue as much as the tobacco does.
What are you smoking?
This is GL Pieces Navigator, and it burns a little hot and a little heavy because of the casing that they put on it. It is an alcohol casing that they put on it. I think it's a rum.
Yeah.
And typically I can't smoke anything with it. Now, to be fair, this Navigator's been cellared for about a year. So it's a lot smoother now than it was coming out of the tin. But even still, I smoked it the other day and it just burns and I can't drink anything with it. This goes well.
I'm smoking Sutless Match 20 right now. I just got it, about 3 or 4 days ago. So the condition of it is kind of wet, but it's a mild English, it's an everyday English, and it pairs well with this because I'm getting this little bit of the smokiness from the English and a little bit of the smokiness from the Scotch.
Yeah.
So it pairs well.
For as cheap as it is, and for as I guess some people would call it a lower tier Scotch. I don't get that from it. It seems to pair very well with this tobacco, with the heat of Texas in the middle of July.
Yeah.
Well, it's August now, but
summer.
100-degree weather, and it seems to be hitting all the right notes. I don't know about anybody else, but at this time of year, I want a lighter tobacco, a lighter brand of bourbon, or a lighter brand of beer. This rocks. This is amazing for me.
I've been pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
I was smoking the Briarworks Bacon Old Fashioned. if I can just make a public statement, stay away from it. Don't try it.
PSA announcement now.
Yeah, just stay away from it. Let me just say that Glen Ness was the hero of that.
Well, let me also say that Briarworks puts out a lot of good things.
They do, but this one, man.
Yeah, the bacon flavor was not my favorite. Well, then that pretty much sums up our thoughts about this Glen Ness 8-year-old.
Yeah.
But I have a real quick question. I don't know if you can answer this. How long has Glen Ness been? How long has this been available? Because I've tried other starting companies, other startups in like rum. When they've tried, a new liquor has hit the market when it came to rum, and at first it was affordable, and then all of a sudden you go to the liquor store and it's more expensive than Jim Beam. And it was your favorite one to start with, and now it's $30 a bottle, and when you started drinking it, it was $12.99.
When I read the review on Wine Enthusiast, and they rated it an 89 out of 100, that was back in 2015. It won a silver medal in the San Francisco Spirits competition in 2015. So you guys out there might be able to educate us on that as far as how old this brand has been around, but as far as it's being recognized, 2015. So we're talking about 4 years now.
Yeah, at least.
I'm sure it's been around for more. A lot of times these local distilleries that have been making their product for years and years and years and years don't get picked up until recently when all these distributors are trying to put out a product.
Right. Right.
And they come across a company or a distillery that's been hidden for years and saying, hey, these guys are doing a great job at what they do. Let's market their stuff. And then all of a sudden, here it is, So if you've got any input on this, please post it underneath the comments of our video. We'd like to know what your thoughts are on this. All right, guys, there's an episode on the Glen Ness 8-year-old. What do you think?
overall, fantastic little Scotch. Admittedly, I don't drink a whole lot of Scotch. I drink a lot of bourbon. I have had a lot of Scotch because of this guy in my life, and I've had a lot of really good Scotches. This one stands up next to him, and it's a really good just kick around Scotch, if that's even a thing. I don't know if that is, but I would definitely recommend this to anybody that's a single malt fan, for sure.
All right. Yeah. What about you, Nathan?
You know, when I hear the word Scotch, I always think of kilts and some gentleman with a suit jacket on or something. And I've never thought myself to be so hoity-toity that I'm going to be drinking something like that. So I'm like you. I stick to bourbons a lot of whiskeys, you know, down-home American stuff. And anytime I've tried a rich, very expensive, high-end Scotch, I liked it, but it was never something that I felt was at home to me. And that's what I'm going to say with this. This is something that hits home. It's nice, it's enjoyable, it's good, it tastes different than the bourbons that I drink, but in a very good way.
It's going to taste different than bourbon, and it should.
It should, but it hits home in a very good way, to a point where I can go, this is what I like.
Yeah.
This is what I drink, and I won't be offended if I sip on it, and I won't be offended if I finish the bottle tonight.
Well, I can tell you that I'm a very refined gentleman. And I've been drinking scotches since I was about 4 or 5 years old. You know, so I've been drinking.
The foothills in Italy.
When we had to climb the hills to go to school in the snow, barefoot, anyway, you know, my favorite, I have 2 or 3 favorite scotches that I drink. Lafroig 18, Lagavulin 16, and Highland Park 18. Those are my favorite scotches. This is not those, but this is an everyday scotch that people can enjoy.
Yeah.
I really think this is your working man's affordable, accessible scotch that you can drink every day.
Yep.
Well said.
Absolutely.
Well said. Well said. Absolutely. Right
on.
on.
All right, well, guys, there's another episode for us.
There we go. So, if you do like what you're seeing, please like, comment, subscribe. Like we said, this is a request from a recent viewer. What was the name?
The Pacific Northwest Pipe Smoker. His name is Brad. I hope I don't butcher his last name. Brad Q or Keough.
Okay, so thank you, Brad, for your request on this. It definitely spurred us in the direction of, apparently with several different options below a $25 mark on a single malt or just scotches in general. So we appreciate the comment. Like you guys said, we do read these comments, and we have heard what Brad requested. So if you like what you're seeing, please leave a comment below, and don't forget to hit that like button and hit that bell so that anytime we post an episode, you're going to get exactly when we put it out. You're going to get a notification when you get it.
Yeah, and we're like 3 or 4 subscribers shy of our 150 mark. So please, guys, go out there and tell your friends about it. Word of mouth is the best way to spread the news of this particular venue. So if you can share this with your friends, have them watch, and if they like it, subscribe. We would greatly appreciate it. Mm-hmm. Of course, you know that YouTube is now demonetizing anything that has to do with tobacco use. So we're not making any money off of this. We just do this because we enjoy it. Mm-hmm. So get your friends to watch it. We would greatly appreciate it.
Yep, absolutely. So once again, that wraps us up here at Pipes, Tobacco, and Whiskey. Colton, you have anything you want to add?
No, I appreciate you guys tuning in, and please stay around for more.
Yeah,
for sure.
Dad?
Don't forget, make all your piping moments count.
Right on.
So long, guys.
See ya.